Welcome back, dear viewers. You're still watching The Breakfast Show live on Nile TV International. It's now time for our first topic of discussion for today. We're going to be talking about the global economy in light of the upcoming G7 meeting that is going to take place soon in the French capital, Paris. And we're going to be also tackling the Egyptian economy as well as the declining unemployment rates. And to shed more light on this topic, we're most delighted to be joined here in the studio by Dr. Youman, Hamaki, and she's a professor of economics at Ain Shams University. First of all, good morning, doctor.
Good morning,
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, doctor.
Good morning.
So first of all, let me start by taking a look at the global economy.
Yes.
Definitely it happened before when it comes to the economic recession. It happened before.
Yes.
There were some crises that took place in the United States. We all were affected by this. But I believe that this time it is completely different. There is a world economic recession. There is a huge many different obstacles, challenges facing the world economy, and definitely Egypt will be affected.
Actually, yes, Nashwa, I agree with you. Nowadays, the world economy is witnessing severe challenges. On top of them is a trade war between United States and China. This is affecting to a large extent the predictor for the world economy growth. Rate of growth always has been predicted by international organization, and from now then this prediction is witnessing a decrease. Why? Because you know, we have these trade wars that actually it's not, it hasn't been solved yet from one perspective. From another, you know, it's a real war. Why? Because you know, United States is trying to affect the rate of growth of China, and China is about to bridge the gap between United States and its economy, and from here it comes that there is a tendency towards delaying China for catching up to be the first world economic country. This is actually the situation, and when you see, you know, declarations by President Trump and the Chinese, they are working without a lot of comments. They are working steadily towards their goals, you know. Artificial intelligence and the 5G, you know, and they are trying to use all the gains that they had during the last decades. Still, the role of United States is to try to delay them, and in order to do that by making obstacles of trade and escalating tariffs against Chinese product. By doing that, the whole world economy is affected. We have another problem between South Korea and Japan, so another conflict. We have different political conflict in the area of the Middle East, specifically by the role of Iran, and you know, to how extent this is going to affect to the price of oil, and the price of oil is a significant, it has a significant impact on the world economic growth. From here it comes a lot of challenges nowadays affecting, and this you know, has a sole effect, which is the rate of growth for the whole world economy has been decreasing for the last period. We have another challenge which affected seriously the world economy, which is the Brexit. Nowadays we are discussing that UK is going to be out of the EU without any deal. This is going to make severe problems, economic problems for both the EU countries and for United Kingdom, which is United Kingdom is representing one of the major economic power internationally. From here it comes that all these challenges affecting the rate of growth. Your question about to how extent Egypt is going to be affected by that. Fortunately, if we are going to work, you know, in the right way, we can gain from this situation. a lot. It's not easy. Why? Because, you know, the trade war between United States and China has benefited some of the Eastern European countries according to applied researchers. Why? Because China, the competitiveness of China, which is, you know, including most of the product of the world, you know, is preventing other countries from being able to compete and to penetrate. You know, the American market is very, very important, you know, and actually the American market was part of the success story of China. Why? Because it's a wide market. United States is the largest importer in the world. And from here it comes that if we can, as Egypt, benefit from these markets, and we have a lot of agreements that we are not exploiting it properly. We have two agreements, the QIZ, which is including Israel as a part by a component of 8% to 11. And we have another agreement which is, we are not using it at all. You know, if you talk about the quiz, we are talking about the interest of some of our producers, and this is a big problem, Nashwa. Why? Because always when you talk about our capability to benefit from international agreements, you are going to find some producers only are benefiting from such agreements. You know, this is the role of government. If the government couldn't expand the interest and the benefit to the majority of producers and increase the capabilities of medium and small producers to benefit from such agreement, this is not going to affect our, you know, penetration to international market. Because like for China, the participation of small industries in the total export of China exceeding 60%. For Egypt is 6%. Imagine the difference. And from here it comes at 6% for small industries. So you are concentrating, if you can, you know, to how extent large producers are able to fulfill the needs of the markets. If they are going to produce with full capacity, they cannot fulfill the needs. So unless you introduced new producers from small and medium size, you are not going to benefit from such agreements. This is what we can talk about, the quiz, and this is what we can talk about another system which actually most of our producers, they don't know about it, which is the generalized system of preferences. United States is offering an opportunity to developing countries to penetrate their market without paying tariffs. As you know, preference to these developing countries. You know, India, Turkey, and Egypt were of these countries. Lately, United States excluded India and Turkey. Why? Because they benefited a lot from such agreement. Egypt, our export, according to statistic of 2016, didn't exceed $40 million. Which is completely a very minimal figure. From here it comes that Egypt is having a very good opportunity to penetrate international markets. We have a partnership with Europe. We have these agreements with United States, which may enable us, if we can succeed, to improve our competitiveness, specifically in the products that can have, you know, a demand in these markets, such as ready-made clothes, leather product, food product. If you can fulfill the requirements, I believe that Egypt is having a very good opportunity to benefit from the trade war nowadays existing.
Doctor, does that mean, in light of what you said, we're going to see a global economic downturn like the one that took place in 2009, or not to that extent?
Actually, you know, on the occasion of having 10 years of the financial crisis, which was last year, 2018, you know, there was a very important debate about to how extent the financial and monetary international systems have managed to take the necessary steps and precautions to avoid another financial crisis. And if we evaluate this, the big story to evaluate what happened during these 10 years regarding, to what extent trying to secure, to have an early system, early warning system, the role of IMF and the World Bank, international organization, the role of the gathering of the Bank of Settlement, which is responsible to harmonize the financial system by gathering the governors of all of the most important central banks worldwide. I believe the results can prove that, it's quite hard to accept that we can witness another financial crisis. But from my point of view, and according to these studies, referring to these studies, we can see that the world economy may witness some downturns, the slowing growth, but still we are far than financial crisis, because the main reason for financial crisis was the financial sector, the banking sector specifically. And I believe nowadays there are precautions like Basel IV, and all these precautions may prevent achieving another financial crisis. But these trade wars that is done deliberately is going to affect the growth of the world economy.
Yes. Dr. Allow us just to go to a short break, dear viewers, and short break, and we'll be back to resume our discussion here in the studio on live on The Breakfast Show.